without Googling it, do you know the highest paid actor on television?
I think I do.
I'll bet a lot of you think you do. You're probably wrong. Think about it. In just a few minutes, we're going to reveal who it is, and you are going to be surprised. It is not who you think it is. Stay with us. Hey, glad to have you back for another show. We're going to dive right in, and let's talk about feet for a second.
Ooh.
The weather's starting to get warmer depending on where you are in the country, and if that's the case, maybe you can just throw on some sandals or some flip-flops or some whatever. If we're going to see your feet, take care of your feet.
Now, people and feet have a long, nasty history.
It's true.
You know, there's the picture of the lady a friend of ours took on a flight where the lady put the tray down and then put both of her feet up on the tray that people eat off of on a flight. And it's just like, really? But I saw something that's disgusting. So I'm picking up a sandwich at a restaurant, and a delivery man, one of the
DoorDash,
yeah, one of those
Eats,
type
one of
things.
those, okay.
I don't know which one.
Okay.
Shows up, and he looks like every concert roadie you've ever seen. Black shirt, black board shorts, and black slides. No socks.
Okay.
His feet were so nasty, and he's standing next to me, and I was looking down at my phone, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I tried to snap a picture, but I got the clean foot.
The clean, so you're telling me one foot is worse than the other?
One foot looked like he just stuck it in a potted plant. And more concerning was, you know, when you work in the garden or something and you get the dirt under your fingernails, that's what his foot looked like.
Oh, God.
And his toenails he could spearfish with. Okay. I'm not kidding. They were this long, and so I snapped a picture, and I got the good foot.
So
but this is it.
We're all very lucky that Chris was willing to do this. Enjoy. Oh, man.
If you got feet like that, cover them.
You can't be putting those things out. You either have got to take care of your feet or you got to cover your feet up. It's really, those are your two choices, and it's super simple.
And he delivered food to someone's house, and when they took that food, they looked at his feet and went, oh, I don't think I can eat this.
Yeah, food delivery, it's dicey anyway.
Well, that's the reason why I quit using it. Rach and I, because here in East Tennessee, there's a guy in jail right now that posted on social media, he dipped his, in the salsa because he was unhappy with the tip that was left on the credit card. So he didn't even give him a chance to tip him when he got there. It was like, I'm upset with the pre-tip. So I'm going to do this to them, these innocent people. So I was, at that point, I'm like, yeah, people are doing that. I'm not getting delivery.
And I see your point, and I'm not disagreeing, but I also know if you go to a restaurant, you're dealing with the same thing.
I know.
It's there. You're kidding yourself.
I don't want to think about it.
If you don't think those things are happening everywhere. I can't let myself think about it, or I would never get to enjoy food at a restaurant or a delivery again. And I like that. So I have to try to shut that I'm compartmentalizing that little piece of my brain that knows the horrible things that are going on. But then you bring in a picture of a foot like that, and it just throws everything off. Okay.
Remember those feet.
It's like, remember the Alamo. Remember the feet. So bad. Have you watched either the actual news coverage, because I think it's been on whatever, Court TV or whatever, or have you watched the Netflix documentary, The Murdoch Murders, A Southern Scandal?
Is the documentary worth it?
I think it's great. It's only 3 episodes.
Because the storyline to me just looks like your standard rich guy that owned an area and had everybody bought off, and it finally caught up with him.
Well, I mean, there's certainly, that's a huge part of it, yes. But the story I think that was wild, I'll tell you this, I liked the series, and again, it's short, I think it's 3 episodes, but I will say it's a little disjointed, especially in the very beginning, and the way they chose to do the timeline can be a little confusing, so that would be maybe my only critique of it. But the story itself and what happens with this family and the things they've gotten away with for years until it finally caught up with them is insanity. And it's worth a watch. And for me, I have not watched any of the actual coverage, but there's a guy I follow on Twitter who has been just live tweeting every day watching it. And it will blow your mind. And it will infuriate you. If you're if you're a regular person like us and you watch a family like this who runs a small little town, it's mind-boggling. And the heartbreak that happens to other families within this story who are related to this family in some way, and it is wild.
Well, the guy looks guilty to me, and I think Judge Judy would have handled this case in 30 minutes, and they're taking a bunch of taxpayer dollars.
Well, it's funny. The U.S. legal system's a crazy thing, and it works the way it works. But I don't know what's going to happen with him. I mean, obviously we don't know. You know, they have to prove it all. But from what I saw in just watching the docuseries, it's like, come on.
Well, didn't the guy just get on the stand and say, "Yeah, I've been lying about that, but now here's the truth"?
Well, there's things like that going on. His brother has come on and said, "Well, I know they were like all these things are happening." And for the first time, I guess, you know, in his life, he doesn't have the police in his pocket. He doesn't have, you know, the things he's had in the past to make these things just go away. And believe me, they have made some things go away. Wow. So if there is any justice, I'm pretty sure that they're going to see this guy in prison. But it's something. Again, not the greatest docuseries, a little disjointed, but worth the watch just to, if nothing else, to get angry at rich people.
Okay. I love doing that.
That seems to be a popular thing to do right now. Other things, just real quick, as far as watching, I mean, you're still on Poker Face?
Poker Face is fantastic, and I told you it's a Columbo ripoff. I mean, they somewhere down the line, they're going to say, we wrote this as Columbo with a female lead. And she does the mannerism. She's got that New York type accent anyway. And she's like, I just got to, and then even last week, the one we were watching, they closed the door on her and she knocks again. And when they open, she's like, and I'm like, she's going to say it. One more thing. And she doesn't do it. But I love it. And the guest stars on it are fantastic. Adrian Brody, Nick Nolte. I'm trying to think of Jerry Jones was on it. There's so many people.
That's cool. We finished second season of Slow Horses, which I had mentioned before. I know we were a little late to it on the first season. Second season just came out at the end of the year. It's excellent. If you love like a spy, mystery, thriller, Gary Oldman doing what Gary Oldman does, and there's some other recognizable faces, but I like it because it's 6 episodes, so it's not a ton of time, and each season kind of wraps up with a nice little bow.
Okay. I'm going to give it a try on the treadmill this next week.
And we were already hoping that they were going to do more, and so, of course, we Googled it, and now I see that season 3 will probably be out later this year, and they've already okayed it for a season 4.
Oh, wow.
So the show is doing well. I don't know that it's won many awards or anything, but it's on Apple TV, and if you like that kind of genre, spy thriller, it's fantastic.
Okay.
So highly recommend that. We're still doing Your Honor and Last of Us too.
Ted Lasso 3's on the way.
So excited about that. I think the last show we had a teaser trailer. Now we've got a real trailer. So that's linked in the description if you want to check it out if you're a Ted Lasso fan. And I know so many people are. And we can all use some feel-good stuff.
Absolutely.
In our lives right now. And then just 2 old things that we watched, both of which we have not been able to watch on Prime. Now, I am one of those people who is incredibly lazy. Katie and I have, I don't know, 600 or 700 DVDs. And that's trimmed down from the thousands I used to have. But I started replacing them with, I would just buy it on Amazon or whatever to have a digital copy. So I own these 2 movies on DVD. But who wants to go get the DVD player out? And then you got to unplug the Roku and you got to plug. It's a pain. And because we don't keep a big stereo thing set up in our living room. One of them is Cannonball Run.
Is that the Jackie Chan one? Is he in that one or is that 2?
He's in that one.
Remember we had Owen Wilson on the show. When they did Shanghai Nights, I think.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, man, I went to Cannonball Run just to see Jackie Chan. Because that was his first American movie.
Yeah, so it's a great movie. Cannonball Run 2 has been readily available, and it's fine. I mean, they both are what they are. I mean, let's be honest.
Cannonball Run 2 script doesn't hold up. I mean, the first one.
I still was getting laughs out of this. It's a classic movie, and I was so excited to just randomly come across it.
Which one was it where Frank Sinatra pulls up in a Celica and a members-only jacket?
That's the second one.
Okay.
See, that's when they started kind of going downhill a little bit. It's like bringing in Jackie Mason for Caddyshack 2. You have Roger Moore in the first, and you have to slum it with Frank Sinatra.
They should have went and got George Lazenby for the second one.
That would have been brilliant. I wish you had been in that room at the time.
They needed me. The Cannonball Run was missing me.
But anyway, great movie. It's a fun old movie. Check it out. And then the other one, and this one I know why it's back. It has been off Prime for a long time, and we've been wanting to watch it. We love Mel Brooks, Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, all those classics. This one's not necessarily a classic. It's not one of his best, but I love it, and I've always loved it since I was a kid. History of the World Part 1.
Is that the one where he's like Moses, and he's like, God, give us these 15, and he drops one, and he's like, these 10 commandments.
Yes, it's full of great stuff like that, and it's Mel Brooks doing what he does. But it hasn't been available for whatever licensing reasons. Well, as you know, or maybe you don't, History of the World Part 2, a sequel, 40 years in the making, is kicking off on Hulu this coming Monday. And so I'm sure they said, well, let's get this back out there so people who are going to watch, and we bought right in. We grabbed it for $5, and now I own it on digital.
Awesome.
I don't have to get out the DVD player, and we had a great time. But yes, I'm really excited about the second one, which looks to me like Drunk History on steroids.
Got it.
And I'm all about that, so I'm excited about that. I think that's all we have as far as what we're watching right now. So we already knew stores were, tracking our info, and if you have an iPhone or whatever kind of phone you have, you can ask it now. I don't want this app to track me. I don't want to see these things. But we are about this close to Minority Report.
The movie Minority Report, yes, where he's walking and they were like scanning eyes, and all the commercials were directed directly at him. They're calling him by name.
Hey, had those khakis work out for you? I mean, we're just about there. And again, I knew that they were tracking. I knew that they kept track of little things, but there are a couple of stores in particular right now who are really going above and beyond in snooping. And so we're just going to give you a couple of pieces of information just so you know there are some situations where you can opt out of these, others where you can't, but you might want to know. So the two big ones that in this thing that we read are Kroger and Walmart.
Okay.
And, when you get your Kroger card or pick a grocery store, whatever card, it's just that Kroger's the company that's really hardcore on this right now. You do it thinking, okay, I'll save a few bucks, I earn fuel points, the things that we want out of that. But at the same time, they are collecting so much stuff and they're selling it to third parties. So they said this could be $1 billion industry for them in no time.
So like if I buy Bailey's pet food there, the pet food company's finding out all the pet companies are finding out, oh, they've got a dog at the Rochester house and here's where we can inundate them.
Well, it's their race, ethnicity, age, finances, employment, online activity. Some will just track your movement in the store. So if you have like the app on your phone, the Kroger app, and you go into the store, there's a Bluetooth ping that's going to go off to let them know, okay, this person is in the store right now. And they're going to see where you go, and they're going to see
how long you spend on an aisle.
If they have cameras in there, there are some that they're bringing in facial recognitions, and so that's where we start getting into that Minority Report. Hey, Tony, glad you're back. Do you need some more of those Magnum condoms?
Yeah, if you work in an industry, and the box of rubber bands will be on aisle 3 in office supplies.
Exactly. I was waiting for that.
If you're in the sales industry and you don't have a plan, like I know some people that own some stores and stuff that they just kind of go in and wing it. That's how detailed it is now. We're going to know how long you spend on an aisle, and if you don't spend a lot of time on that aisle, we're going to change that aisle around. Move things up and down and prices.
It is wild. And of course, then there's the targeted ads, and we all know this. How many times have you been talking about something, and suddenly the next day or later that day in your ads, oh, that's the thing we were talking about.
Yes.
Of all things, it happened to us with Spumoni ice cream.
Really?
Katie was saying, I missed this restaurant in San Francisco. They had the best Spumoni ice cream. Something we would never talk about. The next day, in my Facebook and Instagram ads, I had an ad for some company that makes this great Spumoni ice cream. So they're doing it.
Yeah.
Your smart TV is listening to you. And there are some of these things you can opt out of. You should just be aware that, again, all stores, but right now, these articles are big on Kroger and Walmart. They are really going hard to the hoop to sell our information.
Well, what's funny for me is as a guy of my age, because Rachel will ask me, we'll be scanning through my Instagram, and I don't follow any of these bikini girls, none of this stuff.
Right.
But they'll keep popping up in the feed, and I'm like, I'm not following, I'm not liking any of these. And she's like, well, the algorithms are grabbing what you're, and I'm like, no. But I think it's my age group. That's what the guys follow.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're white male.
I get the same thing. And somehow recently I've somehow made it. I have Snapchat like buried in my phone. It's there because I have some friends who I still connect with on Snapchat.
Yeah, I haven't had an account on that in years.
Yeah, but I don't use it. I never use it. If I get drunk on a Friday night or Saturday night, sometimes I'll send a snap out to a few people. It says, hey, what's going on with a picture? And we have a friend who 1 a.m. he called me on Snapchat. We had a conversation at 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's what I'm doing on Snapchat. But all of a sudden I've been getting these random unsolicited snaps from people, and it's like, dude, please stop doing that. I don't want this on my phone. Anyway, watch your stuff. If you have the opportunity to opt out of things, you might want to. Don't do what 99.999% of people do. Oh, there's the privacy thing for my club card. Yeah, I accept. You might want to read it a little more.
Yeah.
Because they could be doing some real hardcore snooping into your life. One more quick thing before we get to the highest paid TV actor, and that is if you ever bought something, usually it's bowls or glasses, and the store put a price sticker or something on it, and the sticker is just...
Yes.
You can't get it off of there.
Yes.
The residue won't come off, and you run it through the dishwasher, and you soak it in water, and you try to use
scrub.
All those things. There is I don't know how long it's been out there. I don't spend a ton of time on TikTok, but it's a TikTok product that people have been talking about, and this woman tried it, and she says it 100% works and is worth the money.
Okay.
So she said she tried all that kind of stuff too, and I guess it's depending on the store you go to. Some stores, they make it like a super cheap glue or whatever, and it comes right off. But then some of them, and I guess TJ Maxx is a big one, they glue those stickers on. So you can have this cup at a discount, but good luck getting that sticker. So she's tried like oil, blow dryer, all these things, and for whatever reason, either they don't work or they take way too long to work. So she tried this TikTok stuff, and I guess it's called like the pink stuff.
Yes, that's a song by Kenny Chesney.
I think that's the good stuff.
Oh, well then I don't know.
Although, doesn't matter. So its base is a vegetable oil, and then it also has, I guess, some kind of like quartz crystals in it or whatever. So it looks like almost like silly putty, and you use it. So like the oil loosens it, and then the quartz rubs off the sticker. And they said it works like a charm on glass and stuff like that. So if you've been thinking about trying it, but you didn't know if it worked, I have not personally used it, but this person who wrote this blog said that she tried it and said it works like a charm.
Okay, I'll look into it.
They did warn that if you are going to use it on like cheaper, so they would recommend not using it on like on plastic and things like that because the quartz crystals could mess up the plastic. So just FYI. Now then, you're watching TV. There's a lot of big shows out there, and clearly some big stars have come to television. I mean, look at the spinoff of Yellowstone with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. You got Kevin Costner on Yellowstone. Who would you say is the most or the highest paid actor on television?
I would guess Costner.
And you would be definitely in the ballpark. I mean, the guy's making like $1 million something an episode of Yellowstone. But no. And in fact, the person who is making the highest, now, in fairness, when they look at what they're making per episode, there's the acting fee and an executive producing fee. And Costner gets that, as does this person. But this person nearly doubles Costner's salary.
I'm trying to think who's on a big enough hit to justify that.
And that's where I ran into trouble. I was like, well, who else is getting that? Because the Big Bang Theory's gone. There's nobody that I know of on network television.
Harrison Ford's on Shrinking, maybe?
Between that and then he's...
Ted Lasso.
1923, Ted Lasso. Jason Sudeikis. Good guess. Does very well. He makes about the same as Costner. Makes about $1 million an episode. I don't think you could guess this without Googling it. And if you say you did, you're a liar. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's no way you knew this. The show is a show that you love, and you've been trying to get me to watch, and I promise I will. I just haven't gotten around to it. And it stars someone who was on another TV show that you loved that I hate.
Oh, you hate The Office?
There's the show I don't like.
John Krasinski.
Jack Ryan.
Really? That show's great, but I don't know if it's worth him making more than Kevin Costner in Yellowstone.
Making about $2 million an episode. And what's crazy about that is, and again, I can't speak on it, I haven't watched it, but I mean, you would think on a prime streaming show like that, they would not be coming to the table with that kind of money.
I think to get him to do it, because it was such, first of all, I think they had to have the writer was that Clancy?
Tom Clancy, yeah.
They had to get him to sign off on who they got to be Jack Ryan, and Krasinski was pretty hot at the time, so to get him to play the character, I could see them saying, we'll pay you this to do it. Or they paid him whatever for the first season, and then they were like, we want more of this. And then it was like, because once A Quiet Place come out, that changed everything for him.
I was going to say that raised his status so much because that was such a big movie. But yeah, I was kind of shocked. I would never in a million years would have guessed that he was the highest paid actor on TV. So,
good show, though.
Yeah, and he's such a likable, I don't begrudge him anything. Yeah. I want him to have all the success. I want him to have all the money.
Love him.
He seems like the nicest guy. And if you haven't watched Jack Ryan, Chris is a big fan. Probably going to want to have to watch that too.
Let me put it this way. It blows some of all fears out of the water.
That wouldn't be tough to do. They've made, real quick Tom Clancy thing. I haven't read many of his books because they're all like this thick and it's full of technical jargon that I'm not really into.
And I don't read, so I haven't either.
I've seen the movies. I love Hunt for Red October.
Yes, just watched it a couple of months ago.
Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger.
Yes.
They did a great job with those movies. Fun to watch. The only book of his I've read is a book called Without Remorse, and that's the one that they made with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So what it's I didn't watch it because again I looked at that and said, well, this isn't even the same story.
Well, that's what the review I read said there was nothing except the title that's the same.
And that angers me as a lover of books because that's when I read that book I was like, this would be a great movie because in it we get a very young Jack Ryan. And remember the character that Willem Dafoe played, Mr. Clark, in Clear and Present Danger? It's really about his origin story.
In Without Remorse?
Yes. It's his origin story, what he did, and James Greer before he was an admiral.
Wow.
So the James Earl Jones character's in it. And it's all about how they get hooked up together and how, the first time that Jack Ryan meets Mr. Clark and all the... It's a great story and movie. And then they made that movie, and it's like they just threw the entire source material out the window.
Well, what happens in those things, because we've seen it a couple times in interviews and stuff, that it's a miracle a good movie's ever made because they get a great script and then the director goes, I want to do this. And then a big time actor comes in and goes, well, I want my cousin added in and I want him to have a character that does this. And then there's some nitwit that's not creative, that's a bean counter somewhere going, was it Jaws? Yeah. The wife's name in Jaws is after the president of the company's wife. It's like, I want the name changed. It's always something.
It's so frustrating, and as people who love entertainment, it's really frustrating because it's like, man, that would have been such a good movie as it was. You could have made a great action thriller, and and maybe it's a good movie, but it's not without remorse.
Yep.
And I'm shocked that Tom Clancy allowed that to happen. I guess he wants the check.
Yep.
Which is
I know I want one.
If only we had any kind of story we could sell. Well, let's get to some lighthearted entertainment to end things today. Some internet that made us laugh this week. We'll start with a couple of parenting ones. One of these is brilliant. If you don't do something like this in your home already, if you have kids, you're going to want to try it after you see this. The note that was left for the kids.
This is great.
Today's Wi-Fi password can be unlocked by texting a photo of a clean kitchen to mom. Said photograph must contain 1 box of crackers on the counter by the stove to prevent reusing any previous photos. Thanks for playing. May the odds be ever in your favor. Love, Mom. You know you're getting serious when you're starting to pull the hostage thing. I want to see a newspaper held up.
I love it.
That's solid gold. But you have to think like that now with the way phones are and stuff. I mean, I remember when they first started with pictures, we would have our kids, I'm going to a movie. Okay, I need a picture from inside the movie. I would get all these things that they had to do because you got to know they're not lying.
Well, I'll tell you something crazy, though, that I found out. We've tried that, and then we realized all the kids in the neighborhood are on everybody's Wi-Fi. So you just use the neighbors.
So they're just...
Because like when the kids come in and they go, hey, what's your Wi-Fi?
They just save it.
And they have everybody's on the street.
So having no neighbors is best.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get far, far away from people. And then this is another good parenting one. I think every mom out there will feel this. On my way to buy my kids new clothes they don't need and the same sports bra and leggings I've had since 2017.
We just cleaned out Lily's closet the other day and found so many clothes with tags on that she's probably outgrown. And it's like, really?
Well, kids grow so fast, and moms, when they get a little extra money to do something, moms are it's what's in them. They will always give it to somebody else before they do something for themselves.
That's the reason why we would always get like prizes in radio. They'd always say, let's just give gift cards away. And we're like, gift cards are fine, but the mom won't spend it on herself.
Yeah.
If we're trying to get moms to listen, we need to give moms something they want that they can use.
And it's challenging because moms are just awesome. And then there's dads. Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Take this. Yeah, only 2 toes are sticking out of that shoe. You're fine.
You're fine.
That's good for another season. Not trying to generally make fun of fat people, but this is absolutely 100% true. I'm sorry. Fattest man in the world back in 1890. People paid money to see this guy. Today, he'd be the 3rd fattest guy at the local Walmart. It's not wrong.
That's true. I mean, I'm not making fun of people that have that issue, but that is true.
Fact is a fact. And we're here to spew facts. Maybe if we didn't give serial killers such cool names like the Night Stalker and instead call them things like the Small Pee-Pee Killer, we'd have less serial killers.
Okay, that's the best meme we've ever had.
I mean, it's true. Again, we're spouting facts here. Would you want to go around with that name?
No.
Blasting all over the news. He strikes again.
God, I love that.
This is a little video, and it's just one of those things where I love dogs. I'm a sucker for them, and the caption's so perfect. Practicing angry faces to protect human. And that's the thing, too, that you've picked one of the sweetest breeds of dogs, too, showing off his teeth and acting like he's tough. That is awesome. If you know, you know. You either get this or you don't. Everyone kept hitting their heads as they walked down my stairs, so I hung a sign as a warning.
Ah, brilliant.
You're smart enough to get that, and you don't bump your head.
You can come back for our next show.
Yeah, or you hit your head. I don't have to live in this world, but Katie, I see her live in this world all the time, and she gets so frustrated. When you stay on mute the entire meeting, but at the end say, thanks, everyone, to make it seem like you contributed. There's your face. It's like, they were here. Dads, no daughter of mine's leaving the house dressed like that. Dad's in the 80s.
That's true.
This is me online. There's no I in happiness. You see how they spell it. There is if you spell it right.
Okay, I like that.
This kind of goes along with remember when we showed you the deck that had been made because out of a boat? This is nice. Finally finished up that deck and got the pool installed. That's my childhood right there.
There you go.
Why can't we get a pool? You've got a pool. It's right out there. Now go sit in that pool. Go sit in that 4 inches of tepid, horrible water.
That's about 80 degrees now from sitting in the sun, that hot tub.
Yeah. This one you saw this.
I drove right by it heading to the airport, and I was like, did I just see a coffin just on the ground out there with nobody around? And then when I came back, I was like, yep, that's what that was.
I love it when you buy the dig your own hole package.
Exactly.
Just drop it off there. We'll get the guys out there.
Or the guest of honor just showed up early.
Something happened.
Because it's like, just leave them. Somebody will find them.
It would be so eerie to be driving by and just see it sitting out there. It's like, something's going on here. I don't know what it is.
But delivery service, like an Uber. Uber deaths.
Uber deaths. No, they wouldn't get
There's the body.
They wouldn't get the right address.
That's true.
Couldn't be that. That'd show up on somebody's front porch. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We've got another special guest coming up on the next show, so you're going to want to make sure you keep coming back and checking the channel. Our Etsy store is wide open with fun products ready for you to spend money so we can buy new equipment.
And you need to hurry if you want the St. Patty's Day stuff.
But we're always going to be adding new things, and we encourage you to please go and drop a couple of dollars and help us buy new stuff for the show. Thanks for watching. Please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go watch some other videos. We got a bunch of stuff here on the channel. We appreciate your time.
See ya.
See you next time.